Yeah, he has an ability to raise his game to a whole nother level, and you see that time and time again in the playoffs. And it's a guy who battles through anything, really impressive. You guys
Connor
got pretty much
McDavid finally spoke about Leon Draisaitl, and what he said felt serious. Connor McDavid didn't say much, but his words about Leon Draisaitl sounded different this time. After everything they've been through, his tone made it seem like something big is changing.
really positive. Obviously, missing those two guys hurts. Obviously, with Leo and Dickey, two of our top 9 guys. So miss those guys a lot, and good to see them back out there looking good.
The conditions entering this playoff run are different from what Edmonton has had in previous years, and McDavid acknowledged it directly. Health is a big thing, he said. A team that can stay the healthiest usually has a good chance. You want to be healthy on day one, and we're getting closer and closer to that. That statement, delivered with the measured tone of someone who has watched injury attrition dismantle playoff runs at critical moments, carries real weight this year. Leon Draisaitl and Jason Dickinson, two players McDavid described as top 9 contributors, had both been missing from practice in recent days before returning to the ice. Seeing them back out there looking good, his exact words visibly lifted the mood around the team in a way that the specifics of any tactical preparation could not replicate. Draisaitl's return matters most. McDavid was asked directly about what happens to Draisaitl when the playoffs begin, about a quality that seems to activate at a different level when the regular season ends and the real games start. McDavid's answer was immediate and unequivocal. He has an ability to raise his game to a whole other level. You see that time and time again in the playoffs. He's a guy who battles through anything. That assessment from the player who skates alongside him and watches it up close is not a formality. It is a description of a competitor who has repeatedly demonstrated under pressure what McDavid already knows and what opposing coaches have had to plan around, that the postseason version of Draisaitl is a different and more dangerous player than the one who accumulates regular season points without attracting the same level of attention. The comparison to previous playoff entries was one of the more revealing threads in the pre-series conversation. McDavid has led this group into the postseason 5 or 6 times now. He was asked directly what he knows now that he did not know when he was younger, what the experience of those deep runs and those painful eliminations has deposited into his understanding of what it takes. His answer was precise: knowing what to expect, knowing what it's going to feel like, the environment, the game, the pressures, the momentum swings. Playoffs is really a different game, he said. It really is. You have to understand all of that. And this group understands that. He was also asked about what he sees when he looks at this team compared to every other version he has taken into a playoff opener. His answer had a quality of honesty that stood out from the surrounding press conference language. To be honest, I felt good about each and every group we went in with. This group is no different. That line, "I felt good about each and every group," is the acknowledgement of a competitor who does not go into any postseason believing his team cannot win. It is also the honest admission that previous groups, despite his belief in them, did not finish the job. The confidence is real. So is the awareness that confidence alone is not sufficient. What is different this year that McDavid chose to note specifically? A third-line center of a quality this group has not consistently had. Health entering the series, which last year was clouded by uncertainty about who would be in the lineup from one game to the next. The structural depth that allows the lineup to function if someone goes down, rather than creating a cascading gap that opponents can target. McDavid pointed to the goalie and worked outward a formulation that says the foundation is sound, the layers above it are built correctly, and the depth that defines success in a long playoff run is present in a way it has not always been. The Anaheim Ducks entering as the opponent in Game 1 were described by McDavid without dismissiveness and without unnecessary deference. A really good, young, skilled, exciting team coming in that we have to play hard for and be ready for. That characterization, young, skilled, exciting, is the profile of a team that does not have the playoff experience this Oilers group carries, but has the raw tools to produce chaos if the opponent fails to bring the intensity and structure that experience teaches. McDavid has played against enough teams that should not have pushed this core as far as they did to understand that underestimating energy and skill on that last sentence is the honest emotional core of everything else he's said. This is what we get excited for. Not the regular season, not the standings, the playoffs, the environment, the pressure, the stakes. This is the specific context in which the best players in the game want to be measured. And McDavid, at 29 years old, has been through enough of it to know precisely what it requires and to believe, heading into Game 1, that what this team has assembled is capable of what previous versions were not.
I think obviously just putting the X beside our name is the most important thing, just getting in. That's our main focus. Where we are seated, not too concerned about it. You know, we can start series on the road, we can start series at home, pretty comfortable either way, but just got to get in.
Something changed inside the Edmonton Oilers locker room, and Connor McDavid just said it out loud. This was not about scoring goals or highlight plays. It was about control structure and a team that suddenly looks different after a 3-1 win over the Chicago Blackhawks. His words pointed to a deeper shift, and what he revealed next started raising serious attention.
5 wins in a row, not a lot of goals going in your own net. What's going on with the strong defensive play?
The goalie's been playing really well. Kill's been good. When you're not giving up one on the kill every night, you give yourself a chance to put some low numbers on the board, and the goalies, have played really well.
The Edmonton Oilers secured a 3-1 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks, extending their winning streak to 5 games. During this stretch, the team reduced goals against and showed more stability in defensive play. This change became clear through both game results and post-game remarks from Connor McDavid, who pointed directly to what was working inside the team. McDavid highlighted goaltending as a major factor. He said, the goalies have been playing really well. That statement reflected consistent performances in net, where fewer goals were allowed across consecutive games. The Oilers did not rely on high scoring in this match. Instead, they controlled the game by limiting mistakes and keeping the opponent chances low. He also explained the role of special teams. McDavid stated, when you're not giving up one on the kill every night, you give yourself a chance to put some low numbers on the board. This showed a direct connection between penalty kill, improvement, and game outcomes. The Oilers avoided giving away easy goals, which helped them maintain control throughout the match. The structure of the game remained steady from start to finish. Edmonton scored early and held their lead without major breakdowns. Defensive pairings stayed organized and transitions were clean. The Blackhawks struggled to create pressure, and most of their chances were limited to low-risk areas. McDavid also placed this performance in a larger context. He compared this stage of the season to previous years. He said, it is easy to make the comparison obviously close to playoff time. This showed that the team understood the timing of their improvement. As the regular season moves toward its final phase, each game carries more weight in the standings. He continued by stressing urgency. McDavid said, these games matter and we are dug in. This reflected a clear shift in focus. The team was not experimenting or adjusting casually. Instead, they were playing with purpose, knowing that each win impacts their position for playoff qualification. Another key point came from team engagement, McDavid explained. You can tell the emotional engagement is there. This pointed to a change inside the group. Players were more active, more focused, and more involved during every shift. That level of engagement often leads to fewer mistakes and stronger overall performance. He also addressed where the team might start a playoff series. McDavid stated, we can start the series on the road, we can start the series at home. This reflected confidence in different environments. The Oilers did not show preference for home ice advantage. Instead, they focused on maintaining consistent performance regardless of location. This mindset matched their recent results. The team played controlled hockey, avoided unnecessary risks, and stayed disciplined in key moments. Their defensive structure remained strong even when the opponent pushed back. That consistency became a defining part of their current run. Another important factor in this stretch was playing without Leon Draisaitl. His absence did not slow the team progress, McDavid explained. It has been a team effort, obviously. This indicated that the Oilers were not relying on one or two players. Instead, they spread responsibility across the lineup. Defensive units played a key role in that shift, McDavid said. RD have played really, really well. This referred to strong performances from multiple pairings who maintained positioning and reduced breakdowns. Their ability to control space limited scoring chances from opponents. He also highlighted specific consistency within defensive lines. McDavid mentioned that certain pairings had been as solid as we have had. This showed stability in a part of the game that often decides close matches. Strong defense allowed the Oilers to protect leads and control tempo. Offensive production also became more balanced, McDavid stated. We are getting scoring from kind of everyone. This reflected a wider contribution from the roster. Goals were not limited to one line, which made the team harder to defend against. At the same time, developing players began to show progress. McDavid spoke about a teammate adjusting to the league. He said, "He has obviously figured out the defensive side first. This showed a step-by-step development process where defense came before offensive impact." He added, "You can obviously see the offense is starting to come now. This indicated that improvement was already visible during games. Better puck movement and stronger positioning created new scoring chances." One moment in the game also brought attention to officiating decisions. A goal was reviewed and ruled offside. McDavid responded, "I guess because it was offside." He then added, "I do not think anybody understands that rule." This reflected ongoing confusion about how certain calls are made during reviews. Despite that situation, the Oilers maintained control and closed the game without losing momentum. Their structure held, and their defensive focus remained intact until the final moments. As this winning streak continued, the Oilers showed clear signs of change. Strong goaltending, improved defense, balanced scoring, and full team engagement all came together. McDavid's words outlined each part of that shift, and as these elements kept building the attention around, this team continued to grow.
You're just about to send your team out onto the ice, and you've got to tell them your boss just got fired. Good luck with that. That situation Craig Berube found himself in last night. To talk about it, here's the coach, Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, you went through a similar scenario in the past. What's that like?
Well, it's not a lot of fun, I can tell you that, and both for the coach and for the players, because A, you don't want to distract them from the game, but B, you start to think, okay, he was my guy. He was the guy I was hanging on to. If he's gone, what's my situation?
Shockwaves hit the Toronto Maple Leafs after a sudden front office move, and within hours, attention shifted straight to the bench. Pressure started building around Craig Berube as reports linked past NHL patterns to what could happen next. Nothing has been confirmed, but the silence from management is raising serious concern, and the situation is still unfolding. The focus around Craig Berube intensified immediately after the management change inside the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. In the NHL, when a general manager leaves or is removed, attention often shifts toward the head coach. This pattern has been observed in multiple teams over recent seasons. The Maple Leafs situation now follows that same structure, and it has placed Berube under direct scrutiny. Recent team performance added to this pressure. The Maple Leafs have recorded mixed results in their last few games. In one match, they secured a 2-1 overtime win against the Anaheim Ducks. Reuters reported, John Tavares nets OT winner, Maple Leafs down Ducks. That result showed the team's ability to close tight games, but it did not remove concerns about consistency. In another game, the Leafs faced a heavy loss against the St. Louis Blues. Reuters stated, Blues stay hot, crush Maple Leafs. The team conceded 6 goals in that match. Defensive breakdowns were visible early in the game. The Blues maintained control throughout, and the Leafs were unable to recover. This result increased discussion around team structure and in-game adjustments. As these results came in, media coverage across Canada began focusing on coaching decisions. Analysts pointed to defensive organization and game management. The combination of a close win and a heavy loss created a mixed performance pattern. This inconsistency became a key topic in discussions about the team's direction. Craig Berube addressed the situation in a recent interview. According to Sportsnet, he said, "It's been my life." The statement referred to his long career in hockey. He acknowledged the uncertainty around his position. Reports noted that he is aware of the pressure but continues to focus on his role. His comments did not indicate any change in status, but they reflected the ongoing situation. The situation around Craig Berube did not slow down after the initial reaction. Instead, discussion expanded across league coverage as analysts compared this case to past NHL decisions. In several teams, a change at the general manager level was followed by a coaching adjustment within a short period. This pattern has been referenced repeatedly in recent reports, and it continues to shape expectations. Berube's coaching record remains part of the conversation. He led the St. Louis Blues to a Stanley Cup in 2019. That achievement is documented as a major milestone in his career. However, current evaluations are focused on present team performance. In professional hockey, past results do not guarantee job security. This standard applies across all teams, and the Maple Leafs are no exception. Attention has also turned toward game structure and execution. In the loss to St. Louis, the Leafs allowed 6 goals. The defensive unit showed gaps in coverage. Early goals changed the pace of the game. The Blues maintained pressure, and the Leafs could not regain control. This match has been used as a reference point in ongoing analysis, and it added to concerns about consistency. At the same time, the overtime win against Anaheim showed a different outcome. The team limited scoring chances and secured a narrow victory. John Tavares scored the deciding goal in overtime. The result confirmed that the team can perform under pressure. However, the contrast between games has remained a central issue in coverage, and it continues to draw attention. Media outlets have maintained focus on Berube's position. Sportsnet reports emphasized his awareness of the situation. His statement, "It's been my life," has been widely cited. It reflects his long-term involvement in hockey, but does not address future decisions. No official confirmation has been provided by team management, and that has kept uncertainty in place. The Maple Leafs schedule adds another layer to this situation. The team is playing games within short intervals. Limited recovery time affects performance and preparation. Each result now carries more weight due to the stage of the season. Analysts have noted that upcoming games could influence internal evaluations, and this has increased focus on immediate outcomes.
Here's William Nylander from today on what he has seen this year and maybe what he thinks has possibly gone wrong with the Leafs.
You look back at it and go, you kind of wish the team had done something different, like it was played different, or I don't know. When you look back at it, do you see the mistakes that as they piled up, kind of?
I mean, I have like my thoughts about maybe some stuff, but I mean that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay. So yeah, Willie's not going to reveal it, not surprisingly, and I don't think he shouldn't just sit there and start throwing daggers.
Silence can be louder than anything, and William Nylander just proved it in a way no one expected. After a season full of pressure and criticism, he faced the media, and instead of explaining, he gave one cold sentence that instantly spread across the NHL. No details, no emotion, just silence. And now, that silence is raising questions no one can answer. Yet, the moment happened quickly, but it changed the entire conversation around the Toronto Maple Leafs. Reporters asked William Nylander a direct question about the season. It was a normal question. Players are asked this all the time, especially after a difficult stretch. Most players respond with simple answers. They talk about effort, mistakes, or what needs to improve. Nylander did not do that. He paused, stayed calm, and gave a short answer. He said, "Something I'm going to keep to myself." That was the full response. He did not add anything else. He did not explain what he meant. He did not go into details about the team or the season. The interview moved on, but the moment did not. This response quickly became a major talking point across hockey media. According to Sportsnet, Nylander chose not to explain where the season went wrong. The report confirmed that he declined to share his thoughts publicly when asked directly. That choice stood out immediately. Players usually give structured answers in these situations. They often say the team needs to be better or that small mistakes made a big difference. These answers are common. They are expected. Nylander's response did not follow that pattern. It was short, it was controlled, and it gave nothing away. Another report from Toronto Sun also highlighted this moment. The article explained that Nylander clearly has opinions about the season, but decided not to share them. The focus was not on what he said, but on what he chose not to say. That made the moment different. The Maple Leafs have been under heavy pressure. Expectations were high throughout the season. Media coverage has been constant. Players have faced repeated questions about performance, effort, and results. Nylander has been part of that environment. His response came during that pressure. It did not include frustration or anger. His tone stayed neutral. His words stayed limited. But the message was still clear. He was not going to explain his thoughts. That decision created a strong reaction. The reaction to that moment grew quickly, and the focus shifted from the team's performance to Nylander's response itself. Media coverage continued to highlight the same quote. The sentence, "Something I'm going to keep to myself," was repeated across broadcasts and articles. It became the main reference point in discussions about the Toronto Maple Leafs. This level of attention did not come from length or detail. It came from what was missing. According to Sportsnet, Nylander has often handled media in a controlled and private way. He does not regularly share deep internal thoughts in interviews. That pattern helps explain the response, but it does not fully remove the impact of the moment because the situation was different. The question was about a full season. It came during a period when the team was under strong public evaluation. In these moments, players are expected to give insight, even if it is limited. Nylander chose not to provide that insight. That choice became the story. Coverage from Toronto Sun emphasized that Nylander had thoughts on the season but decided not to reveal them. The article did not include any further explanation from him. The original quote remained the only direct comment. No follow-up changed that. Nylander did not expand on his answer in later interviews. He did not clarify what he meant. The single sentence remained unchanged. That consistency kept the focus on the original moment. The absence of details detail continue to drive attention. In most interviews, players respond with repeated phrases. They talk about improving, learning, or moving forward. These responses create a predictable